Hello, hello. Buenas tardes, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited. I am so excited and I'm so honored to have these beautiful, bellas, these lovely women with me here today who are here to share their story of where are they now. This is the first of our series. We want to reconnect with mujeres that we have interviewed with, that we have engaged with as part of our network. And we never forget anyone. We want to uplift all voices and just continue to support these lovely women on their journeys. And so we're here to learn a little bit about where are they now? What have they been up to? What have they been doing? What are some good, bad, and the ugly, como dicen? And so we're here with the three of these wonderful women, which I'll reintroduce to everyone, and then we're going to get into some good conversation. So primero, Maribel, you want to introduce yourself to the listeners?
So my name is Maribel Valdez. I'm the co-founder of In the Making here in East LA, and I'm excited to be here.
Muchas gracias. Erika.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica. I am the founder of La Diosa Boutique and also the founder of the Diosa Hub, so a community for women. And I'm also excited to be here with you all.
Yes. Kelly, you're up.
Yes, hello. Hola, I'm Kelly Zuniga, and I am the founder of Que Linda Eres. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So we're just going to take some time. We're going to go like Red Robin. Vamos a preguntarles. We're going to ask you, what have you been up to this past year? So just briefly kind of give us all the good, juicy details we want to know. What has been going on with you? And we'll have everyone share. We'll go back in order. That way we can just stay on track and I don't miss anybody. So go ahead, Maribel. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been busy here running the boutique. Since we last spoke, we've done so much. Like I mentioned, I met Erica and Kelly around, after meeting you. We've been working the mercados. I'm starting another market. So just keeping myself busy.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Okay, I want to hear all about the new market, but I'm going to hold my questions so that we could that's a teaser. This is what we should call it. The teaser first, and then we're going to dive in deep. So, Erika, what's your teaser? What have you been up to this year?
Yeah, I've actually been kind of doing the opposite of Maribel. I've been trying to take it easier and not be so busy. I only do pop-ups at the Goddess Mercado, so I just sew once a month. My huaraches are now at Adelita's Revenge in Long Beach. It's a small boutique. So I've been kind of just, taking a step back and letting the huaraches kind of sell themselves so that I can, focus more on growing my community, which is the Diosa Hub, where we travel, we get together and, just relax and enjoy life as it should, right? And also, take care of my son and be more present with my family. So that's where I've been.
That is so great. I love to hear that. That's so important. That's part of the journey, right? Of being a business owner, because you're so much more than a business owner. Yeah. You're a mom, as you said, you're a person, you're a human that has needs and desires and goals outside of that. So it's so nice to hear that you're also growing your creativity, right? Is in your vision is also helping you launch these new endeavors and experiences in different ways. So that's really great. Kelly, what's your teaser?
Well, when you interviewed me way back, I was working on writing workshops within Que Linda Eres, talking a lot about the power of writing and journaling. And since then, I've gone on my own journey in my business, and I've started doing coaching one-on-one, which is what I wanted to do originally, but we'll save that story for later, and really owning that. And so there's been ups and downs with that, finding clients, figuring out what's the impact I want to make. So yeah, a lot of that while simultaneously growing in my 9-to-5 career. So, busy like Maribel, but trying to be more like Erica and slow down. So, yeah.
So this is a good sandwich, with las tres, the sandwich is everywhere in between the continuum. Yeah, that's really awesome to see you're evolving, I feel like, in your business. You're doing it in a different way, maybe reaching more folks that way too. So that's really exciting. Okay, so here comes the first deep question, and I don't know how deep we want to get, but of course, as I tell to everybody, we want to feel comfortable, right? We're estamos en familia, the four of us, but as we know, people are listening, so let's keep that in mind too. But just want to hear about, I know it's been really great for a lot of you, and you're expanding and changing and growing and learning, and so much can happen in a year. Um, we'll start with actually, I'm going to flip the question, and we're going to start with kind of like the success. Like, what's been the biggest highlight of your year, you would say? And it could be more than one. So, there can be multiple things you're proud of, or that brings you joy, that you want to share in relation to your business again, or just beyond that, even just as, again, as a person. I think it's important. This platform, I really try to highlight that there's a human behind the business, is kind of what I tell folks, right? Like, there's more to it than meets the eye, than what you see, the product or the service. So these are the stories we like to hear, because folks can relate to those. So anyone want to share just like biggest highlight of your past year for you, whether that be personal or something that, showcases your business, whatever it might be? We're so polite. Just jump in, though.
I think
But I was gonna say, I've been keeping up with your social media, that I'm like, there's so much you can say here.
yeah, for sure. I feel like overall, I think something that I'm very proud of is just prioritizing my mental health. I feel like before I was just, mental health wasn't even part of like my journey. I was just very focused on like, the business. Like I just wanted to grow the business work, and I ended up, burning out. And when I did burn out, I kind of had to sit down with myself and really make time for me, and ask myself, like, what is it that I wanted to do? Because yeah, the business is important, and the income was good, but it wasn't going to be, it didn't matter if my mental health was not at 100%. So yeah, I actually ended up moving out. I got an apartment, moved back to Long Beach. So I graduated here from Cal State Long Beach, and I just remember just always feeling safe here in Long Beach. And yeah, I moved out. I just recently moved again. I'm actually just moving right now. But I moved like at a bigger location too, so that I moved into a bigger home so that I can also run the business. So now I have like a garage where I can better organize myself and ship all my orders from home. I'm also close to like Adelita's Revenge, so I'm able to stop by and stock up as much as I can. I work from home, so it's I have, my time is very important. I have to make sure that I'm like scheduling everything and making sure that I'm showing up when I say I'm going to show up. I also created my community that I mentioned earlier. So I partnered with Chicas Travel Club, and this is a club that just brings Latinas over from the US into Mexico, and we travel more of like a local style. So we're going to like local food stands, and just being like local tourists, and so yeah, just focusing on my mental health so that I can show up to my business, and I can show up as a mother, and I can show up as a wife, being 100% me, and giving it my all. So, and just in a quick nutshell, because we can sit here all day if I went into too much detail.
No, dale, that's good. That's good detail. I think it's important to see the fluctuation for those that are listening, that are business owners themselves or thinking about a business. It's important to see the behind the scenes, right? Because you're making these moves. Let's say in this one, you're moving physically, like from different to a different home, and you have your business in mind along the way, right? So you're thinking of yourself, you're thinking of your family and your community, and you're thinking about your business, right? In terms of like what makes sense. So I think all of that's important. Sometimes there's some like guilt or shame that comes with that. Like, am I putting my business, am I giving it too much importance? Am I not giving it enough? Right? Like, there's so many doubts. So I think just seeing that, how you've evolved and gone through that process even just over the last year, that's just amazing. So many things that have grown out of it. So Thank you for sharing that. That's really important.
Well, thank you.
Really does look like you've done so much from just the beginning of the year to now. And I see you prioritizing your mental health, and it's inspiring. I'm
Mhm.
watching.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you. And I feel like I wouldn't be able to do this also like without my community and my support system, my husband, my in-laws, my son obviously needs someone that I feel like I can trust and that I can leave, when I need to do a pop-up or whenever I need to like work. And I feel like that without them, like there is no me, so I can't take all of the credit as much as I want to.
Take it. No, I'm just kidding. That's true. I know. I love watching your social media too. I always see stories. Erika lights up, or La Diosa, whatever it might be. I'm like, boop, I'm just gonna sit down. What does she have to say? Where is she? What is she doing?
It's very
Yeah.
wow. What are you doing?
Yeah. We travel like almost every like 3 months, I believe. So, it's something that I also have to take into consideration when I'm making my schedule. Like, okay, I'm gonna, every 3 months I'm gonna be out. So I need to make sure that I plan for that too.
Mhm.
That
So
is,
true.
I hope to be able to join you at some point because it looks so fun and very just world bonding.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. I feel like social media just really doesn't do any justice. Like the pictures, the videos, I feel like you just have to be there in that moment because you're spending a whole week with strangers. And, as crazy as that sounds, like we coming back like sisters. And it's just fun. It's nice to see like how at the beginning of every trip, like the women are very like shy and we're all very like, like here and there. Pero like al final of the trip, it's like we're sisters and we're like crying and we're like, I don't want to leave. Like we should hang out over there. So it's just a very beautiful and something that I feel like is very necessary, especially right now where there's not a lot of like communities. And for us to be able to build that community and come back with like that sisterhood, I think to me that's a big success.
So true. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Chicas
Yeah.
Bellas, Kelly, Maribel, adding your story to that. What does that look like? What are you proud of?
I could add. I would say that one of the biggest accomplishments so far that I'm really proud of, as you know, we've been running this nonprofit. Well, I don't know if you know, but we're going on 8 years, and the workforce part of it is a little newer, but we work with the county through a program that hires the youth and then they just place them to work with us. But through doing this, I've come across some youth that are just amazing that I finally had an opportunity to hire a few of them. So I have, as of this year, we actually have some staff members that I think that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to bring a good workforce of not just working, but entrepreneurs and just supporting our youth in any way we can. So it's amazing to know that I can start with at least providing some jobs. So when you shop in the boutique, there's always an intern that's working here or a staff member that is getting paid through the sales of that day. So know that if you shop here, you're making a direct impact. So I'm really excited about that. I would say that's one of the most satisfying things that I've gone through in a long time. So I'd say that for me.
That's huge. So I think all of us have been in your boutique, and that your staff, whether they're paid or volunteers, like they're just been so amazing. Like I walk in that door and so just like kind and energetic and can I help you? And it's like I feel like it's those stores where like you go in and then you want to buy like one thing and then you come out with like 20 things and you're like, oh my gosh. Pero it's not breaking the bank because it's such good prices. And it's so great to know like people want to go there because I know they're supporting jobs and youth and all the things that you stand for. So I think it's been great. And back to Erika's social media, she's shown some of the clothes I see in her videos. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's Maribel got now? Let me look at Erika and see what she.
All my entire closet is coming from in the making boutique. That's my first stop. Like I need to go check out the the rack that they have, and this was one of my recent purchases.
Ooh.
I don't
That's
remember
beautiful.
exactly who was there vending, but she's like, I follow you on social media, and she's like, as soon as we loaded it up, I knew you were gonna come get it. And she was right.
That is so great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're
Yeah.
supporting women. I mean, all of us supporting each other in our endeavor. Kelly, I know the other day I sent you a message, and Kelly posts some really great, just my like thinking, like things that make me think, right? Like your quotes or your affirmations. And I'm like, send her a message, and I'm like, you got to make these into those cards, those affirmation cards. And you could pull like every day you pull a card, right? And it speaks to you. And I know you're going to add that to your long list of things you want to do, but something that you're proud of, or the many things, again, doesn't just have to be one thing, Kelly, for this
Yes,
past
thank
year.
you. I had something in mind and I will say it, but as I'm hearing them talk, I realize that one thing I'm very proud of is being in the same room with women like Maribel and Erica, and how once upon a time that is what I wanted for myself, to be in a group with women who are empathetic, caring, visionaries, and just realizing like, and you too, Rocio, of course, you're facilitating here, but you're part of this of being in the same room as the three of you and others, right? And building community and just feeling so validated that there is another way to do things and that there's so much power in us. So I'm definitely proud of that, and just want to speak to the community that Erica's building. I went to an event hosted at In the Making LA Boutique at the beginning of the year. And yeah, I was there, and that was a highlight for me. And I just thought, like, this is my life. Like, I had to pinch myself, because I haven't always chosen to be around the best people. So yeah, that's something I'm proud of, and something that has been made possible through taking an entrepreneurial path, right? And so I'm very proud of that. And the thing I was going to say was my coaching business. I started off, like I was saying in my intro, offering writing workshops. And I did want to do that. And I still use writing in my coaching, reflection and writing and journaling. But I was afraid to say what I really wanted to do, which is to be a coach. I felt like, who am I to be a coach? What is coaching anyway? And, I started with a group program with another coach, and that provided some safety, right? Like, she's the money coach, I'm the mindset coach. So we're in this together. And then finally realizing, like, no, I would love to work with clients one-on-one and have that depth, right? So reach people on a deeper basis, or really dig in and work together for 3 months and help them achieve their goals. And that's something that I did this last year. I've had my first one-on-one clients outside of the financial literacy program. So that feels great. Yeah. And I'm so excited, and I feel impactful, and I do assessment because I want to make sure that I am helping them meet their goals. And each time they're telling me, like, yes, I didn't know I was capable of this, and now I do. And that's the most satisfying part. Like, you're capable of making your life, designing your life on your terms. As women of color, I feel like we know we can. Didn't we know deep down inside we can do that? But everything around us is sending us messages that we shouldn't want to live life our way. So I love when I see my clients come to that realization of, like, I'm in charge. I've known I'm in charge, but, like, I'm really in charge.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, I think that so I'm curious about hearing all of you share. I know we started with, like, what are you most proud of accomplishment, but, like, maybe it goes with the challenge question, right? Like, the journey to get there, like, how has that been for all of you? Like, from when, let's just say a year ago. For some, it was a little more, a little less than a year from when, like, the first interview here, let's say with Bella. But how has that journey kind of changed? So give a little more detail about, like, we saw, like, this is what you're doing now. It's so amazing, right? But, like, what did it take to get here? Like, what motivated you or demotivated you at some time, right? Like, the challenges along the way. What are those little hills and valleys that you all experienced this past year to get to where you are today?
I can go ahead and share. I think for me, I think having a good support system, having a good community, I feel like it's very difficult for me to like step outside of my comfort zone. And you know, when I come to the Goddess Mercado, like I'm able to have like conversations with Maribel and Diana and like other business owners that I wouldn't be able to have conversations with, you know, outside of like, if they're not business owners. I can come to Maribel, I can come to Diana, I can come to, you know, either of you ladies and tell you like, oh, like I'm having this, like I wanna do this and I wanna form this community. And then, you know, they're able to like give me resources and they're able to like, you know, to help me through that vision that I'm trying to express. Whereas if I were to, you know, go to someone else and tell them like, oh, you know, this is what I'm envisioning, then they'll probably just give me like a side eye and, you know, like, oh, you're dreaming too big or you're thinking too big. But yeah, just having that community that is going to support me. Sorry.
That's one of your community, so that's your part of your community supporting you.
Yeah, that's another little community. So yeah, it, you know, having that community also that I can, you know, like whenever I'm feeling sad or whenever I'm having like that imposter syndrome or whenever I'm like doubting myself or I'm not feeling too well, like I feel like I can always come to them, and just by being around them, I already feel like uplifted, and I feel, you know, coming to like the Bella events, I already feel like, you know, como que my cup is like being filled, and without me even having to ask, like I come back home like very inspired, like, oh my God, they're on their A games, I also need to be on my A game, you know. And I think, yeah, just having that community, that support system that is able to like help me get through whatever I'm getting through without them even, you know, knowing what I'm going through. But for me, it's that community.
Awesome. I forgot the question a little bit. I got so
you got so
into what she
I
was
was like,
saying.
she's gonna say something. Oh no. No, it's just, I know I have long-winded questions, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So just the question was, I'm curious hearing your success right now, right? We just shared kind of what you're most proud of, but like it took a journey to get there, right? So this past year, what possible challenges did you encounter, or just I call them hills and valleys, right? The ups and the downs of life. Like walk us through that a little bit. And like a year ago to where you are now, like what was the in between? Like what did the road and the journey look like for you to get to where you are today? Because all of you have shared that things have changed or grown or evolved, or you added something, or right. And that doesn't happen overnight. And it doesn't just happen with you saying necessarily, I'm going to do this, right? There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of, you know, mental kind of conversations you have with yourself or with, you know, whoever. So again, long-winded question, I know, but like the journey to get to where you are right now, like speak a little bit more of that. And if, you know, there's any challenges that you encounter too, if you don't mind sharing those as well.
I can go next. I would say in the last year, I have a very good friend who's also one of our board members here, who volunteers a lot of her time. And she had some personal things happening where she had to step away from In the Making. And she's such a solid piece of In the Making. You know, within the making, it's like a puzzle, and all of us coming together really make a difference. So when she stepped away, first of all, I did not understand how much she had put on her plate. So I had to go in there and now, you know, do everything she was doing, which added even more that I had to do, and made me hugely grateful for her. But also her taking the time to take care of her mental health. I'm super grateful to know that she prioritized it. And just, I feel that having the Mercado, starting the Mercados with Diana, we're one of the co-founders of the Goddess Mercado and the Queer Mercado. So that took a lot of time, which also pulled me away from In the Making. So to see now that it's almost like I had to go through all that to bring me back to where I am now. Like I said, we just started hiring youth. Like, so I feel like I had to go through all that last couple of years to just really get the experience of working just outside of the boutique and outside, meeting all you ladies, and to be back now and we just put a little more focus on In the Making and what we do. I would say it helped me kind of reground myself And it's clearly working, because now that I'm putting more focus here, I'm able to really, see the impact we're having here directly with our kids young adults, our young adults. So for me, I think it was just kind of just regrouping my thoughts and where I'm spreading my energy and not spreading myself too thin, but also acknowledging that, with my friends stepping away and still being able to handle it, was like, okay, I can do this. So it did give me more confidence. So hopefully that kind of says.
Yeah, no. It speaks to the ups and downs. What maybe you saw as a challenge, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I can't do this. All that doubt, all that, and you push through, and you're doing so well. I think you're just maybe had to change your mindset a little bit towards seeing the good and what you're capable of doing fully, and maybe asking for help. Sometimes that's hard for us to do, right? To like admit we need help, or we feel like we can't do it, and so like, who do we turn to? So we're our own worst critic. I think that's like a saying, right? Like sometimes we're our own worst critic, and we don't know what we're capable of until we're put in a situation where like, ándale, ni modo, a ver cómo te la arreglas. So sometimes those challenges are good, right? They bring good out in us, in our business. Yeah, Kelly, how about you?
Yeah. I think my biggest challenge has been managing my mind, especially as someone who works with mindset, does a lot of mindset work with my clients, because ultimately the reason I want to do coaching is to have more freedom of time, freedom of energy, make my own schedule. And so my goal long term is to leave my full-time job. But in the meantime, I have to do my full-time job because I can't afford to quit and do the coaching, right? So that means like 8 to 5, I'm working. I meet with clients after 5. I do my Instagram stuff, my marketing after 5. On the weekends, I'm in my computer, right? And so it's like contrary to the vision I have and my values. Like, I don't believe we were put here to work and grind all the time. But until I get to where I want to be, this is the reality of my situation. And so there are some days where I'm just like, I just want to stop everything. I'm just going to stop my coaching. I'm just going to like focus on my job. But then I sit in front of my computer at work and I'm like, this work brings me joy, but I don't want to work for anybody else. I really don't. And I don't want to be in front of a computer all day, And so doing that, constantly checking in with myself, and just being like accepting like, this is my reality right now. It won't always be this way, but it's something I have to do. That has definitely been the challenge of the last year. And it's even affected my health. I got sick like 4 times this year, and I never get sick. And so I've had to pause and evaluate, like, what can I cut out and create more boundaries, but it all comes back to my mind, like, focus on why you want this and find ways to stay healthy through it. But don't give up on your dream, don't give up on your dream. And so that inspires, of course, a lot of my content and things that I share with clients, because that's real. It's not that your coaches know more than you or are better than you. It's like having those tools to get through those moments. That's the part that I think is helpful to share. So yeah, my mind, it's my best thing, and it's sometimes my worst enemy.
And how do you reset? Like, how do all of you reset yourself when you're in this state of mind where you're kind of, feel beat down, por decir, like you're like tired, whether it's doubt? How do you reset? Like, is there something simple? I'm asking for like the magic wand. Maybe there's no magic wand, but like, how do you reset your mind or your body or both to be like, okay, I need to keep going? Like, what do you do for yourselves in that respect? Like, in terms of, I don't know, I think some folks call it self-care, but just that reset button. How does that work for everybody?
I've come to recognize that I love sleep. Tired, burnt. Good thing I have no trouble sleeping recently. I think that's one of the ways that I reset. I try to meditate. I listen to sound frequencies, which really just put me into a nice little zen. That's what I do.
That sounds so peaceful. I want to do that right now. Like when you're saying sleep, I'm like, oh yeah, that feels so good.
I need more sleep, that's for sure.
Yeah, so for me, I think anytime that I'm feeling, very like overwhelmed, I think something as simple as just putting like your phone on do not disturb and taking a hot bath, just like sitting down and like staring at a blank wall and just be with yourself, like writing the emotions with whatever it is that you're feeling, and making yourself some tea or whatever it is, but just like sitting down with me. Or sometimes I even like to like just go out to like one of any of the events that we might be having. Sometimes I'll pop up to in the making boutique and just say hi to Maribel. And I feel like, again, going back to the community, we're just like being around her and Diana, just like showing up to the events. To me, that's like enough to be like, okay, like I need to go back, to doing me. And not that I'm using them for like their energy or anything. but, but in a way that, I feel like we both pour into each other, and we just like a lot of ideas just start coming up and start brewing when we start having like these conversations. And I feel like I love that about us. So
Yeah, well, self-care is community care. I really believe that. Like you can't have it without the other. I think that's one of the flaws of this country is the individualism makes us think like we have to focus on just self-care and taking care of ourselves. And if you use right, like even the way you use the word use right now, like no, we're it's an exchange. We're all uplifting each other. So I felt compelled to say that. But for me, how I do that, journaling. I know you know this about me, Rocio. I love to journal. What I've been doing through this time is journaling every morning, and it's nothing fancy. Literally just grab my journal, don't grab my phone. I leave my phone there, turn off my alarm. I grab my journal and I just write whatever comes to mind. Sometimes it's not even legible because I'm half asleep, but it's just like so grounding, and it's like a way to touch in with myself. I also use it during the day, and I do free writing. I don't think, I just write. And I've realized that lately when I look back at my entries, they're all affirmations. They're all about, I am capable, I am growing. That's what comes out of me. And so I've always said journaling is a way to tap into your inner wisdom. And I find that that's true because that's what my wisdom's telling me. Like you have everything you need to be okay. And so doing that really helps me. And then taking time off. At least twice a year, I have times where I deliberately take a social media break, like maybe 3 weeks, if 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and I don't post, I don't worry, I don't go on it. And that really helps me too, because there's so many wonderful things happening that everybody's doing, and then I want to do it too. And then I realize like, oh, I'll scale back. So yeah.
Well, you all are very definitely ambitious. I think that's part of being an entrepreneur. It's just you have a creative spirit, you have an energy and an ambition and desire to just do good and be good, and all of those things. I think it's so innate and it's so intrinsic for all of you that it's hard to, when you want to calm down a little bit, when you want to take a pause, or that's hard too, right? That takes like a lot of energy sometimes because you're like, I want to, but I don't. And you're like maybe a little undecisive as to like where to go or what to do next. But it's definitely part of the back and forth that I think just entrepreneurs, business owners, it's just life, right? And kind of having these ups and downs and being pushed and pulled in different directions as well. So here's a $1 million question, and y'all kind of teased it a little bit in the beginning. I want to hear about your vision for the future and your goals, because all of you mentioned how your business has changed from where it was to, how it changed to where it is now. But we're looking to, the next 6 months, the next year, the next 3 years, whatever it looks like for you. What are those big goals, that vision you have, or things that maybe you're already working on right now that you teased a little in the beginning, that you can share with us, that we want to hear how it's going, or how you the vision for how you want it to go. Let me rephrase that.
I can start. So when I started La Diosa Boutique, I was doing pop-ups like every Saturday and Sunday, and I felt like it kind of just served its purpose, and its purpose like for doing the pop-ups was for me to come to like the Goddess Mercado and meet Maribel and meet Diana and meet Kelly and Rocio and then Kelly, and then meet everyone in the entrepreneurs who were able to help me scale my business and get my huaraches into Adelita's Revenge, and really just help me grow it online. So for me, I don't see myself opening a store. I would prefer for them to have to be like in stores so that I'm not in a store like all day every day, because I already know it's hard work, and like I said, I don't like to work hard. I like to work smart. So I'll let other people do the hard work, but I do want to open, potentially have my like warehouse where I can store all the huaraches. I do want to design my own brand, so I do want to grow it. And as far as like the La Diosa boutique and then the Diosa hub, I want to continue growing it and continue traveling international, not just Mexico, but going to like other countries as well, and just having more events. I know we hosted a clothes swap with In the Making boutique, and Kelly was there, and it was so nice to be around women who I've never met, and they just come and share their wisdom and share their energy and their love, and we're all inspiring each other, and having like those yearly like retreats, and just continuing to grow and host these events. So trying to have my business run itself in a way, and then so that I can also be present for the Diosa hub, and also being home, and being able to take care of my son, and being present for like school, help him with his homework, and being whatever it is that I need to do. So I'm trying to like see what works, like kind of putting all the puzzles together, and again, not working smarter, not harder. So that's where I see myself.
I love that. That's really great. Well, that's exciting to see the two different business models, I'll call it, but still two things that you're pouring your passion into that you want to grow. So and for to include others, like no lo estás haciendo sola, you're inviting people to come with you on that journey. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Go next. I think for me, I had it so like, oh yes, when you're talking, I'm like, oh, that's right. And that's right. And now that I'm on the spot, I'm like, wait, what did I want to say again? For us, that one of the newest ventures that we're launching soon, we're starting something called the 323 Food and Flea Market, Night Market, on Thursdays from 4 to 9. It'll be at the Isla Solis Learning Academy, which is where we first started the Goddess and the Queer Mercado. So we're coming back and starting up a whole new market. It'll be more food vendors, swamp meat vendors. We want to make sure that, with Diana creating the Goddess Mercado and us supporting her, we make sure we covered the female entrepreneurship part of it, the goddess, the goddess energy, as Diana says, the movement. And then with the queer, creating a safe space for the queer community. But we also found that there's that other big piece that is also missing. So having this market, I think, is also going to fill in that void so that we can keep everyone. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that there's more growth, and with growth comes, responsibility and hopefully more money, so that to hire more of these initiatives, and I have more time to be part of the Diosa Hub and be able to go out and network and meet other inspiring women. So that's the one thing I'm excited about too, that we're going to be doing soon. So keep an eye out for it. Hopefully you can come out, Erica. I'd love to have you be a vendor at least. I know, but just at least once. Maybe the main.
That's so awesome, Maribel.
Thank you. Yeah, partnering up with Vanessa and Sid from El Sereno Night Market. I'm big on collaborations. I really think that working together is how we make a difference. We're co-creators to the being that we are, and I love Vanessa. I tell her all the time, we speak the same language. And this is something we had talked about months ago. So to finally see it moving in that direction, us starting to post it, we came up with a logo. It's like, hey, it's here for real. It's really exciting.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. Well, you got to share all of that with all of us and with your, obviously your following, and so we can all repost and visit and support. That's really exciting that the community keeps growing. We think like this is it. Nope, there's still more people to touch. There's still more that we can do. And again, I go back to the entrepreneurial spirit where we always want to, do that extra step for our community, and you all deliver every time, so that's so beautiful. It's exciting.
Maribel, is this Vanessa from Masamor Boutique? Oh, okay.
Find me of her. I'm not kidding. There's just a group of women that I've and of course Kelly too, and you, Rocio. I love when I hear people talk about manifesting and energies, because it really is true. It's just something so new to us because it's not the language we're used to speaking or hearing. So when I hear some of the women around me speak that way, I'm like, oh, you get me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next to come, all the Bella women are going to tattoo manifest on their arms. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'll book my appointment right now.
It's going to be a necklace. Chicas Travel Club, where we're going to all go wearing Maribel's outfits to do some mindset meditation with Callie, and we're going to get that tattoo right.
Yeah, on one of my trips to Mexico, I did get Diosa tatted.
Oh my gosh! That. You can't change that now.
I wasn't planning to. I'm just going to keep adding.
Got it with Diosa. It's so perfect.
That's awesome.
These words that just are so powerful on us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So great.
I love it.
Kelly, vision and goals.
Yes, vision and goals. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, where to start? So, I love my job. I love my career, my 9 to 5, but part of the realization and part of in my journey has been like, this job is not going to allow me to build wealth, and building wealth is very important for me, for my communities. And so I still feel like my work isn't done there in my 9 to 5. And so I realized like leaving my job isn't going to be as quick as I had originally planned or envisioned. And so working on growing within that and continuing to have the impact that I have there while growing my business. So in 3 years, when you say 3 years, I'm like, yeah, that's when I hope to be quitting and, doing coaching full time. And there's so much that has to happen between now and then, right? So, I've really been pushing myself to work smarter, like Erica, and thinking like, what's the best use of my time, my limited time that I do have outside of my job? And it's what Maribel said, collaboration, right? And so I've really been thinking about like, how can I be most effective? Because that's really what coaching is about for me. It's about helping women build a wealth mindset, feel fulfilled in their careers, build life in their own path on their own terms, and defy cultural expectations, like all of these things. And so it's like, how can I be more impactful in my work? And I do believe that being more impactful in my work will make me more successful in my work, right? So finding ways to do that and collaborating is a way to do that, it's like, why work harder? Why not work together? Why not work smarter? And I do hope because journaling is so important and writing is so important to me, I do want to start my own journal line. I've been thinking about that for years. And so just thinking about like how, when, and, I'm really big into sustainability. So thinking about like, okay, what's an eco-friendly product, which I started looking into, and I was like, okay, it's not the time right now. So just, that, and I'm thinking about the manifestation cards the affirmation cards that you suggested, Rocio. I'm like, of course, I would love them, because I have a deck that I just pull from like anytime I need them, so several times a day even. So working on that. And one thing that I really wanted, because I used to volunteer a lot I used to be volunteer. I used to volunteer with my alumni association and help first gen youth, first gen college students. And I want to get back to that, but with my wealth building mindset, it's like, well, first I need to be okay, right? Like put my own oxygen mask. Like I still have student loan debt I'm paying down. Like I'm still living at home to save money, you know. So like take care of myself and get to a point where okay, I'm meeting all my goals, right? Paying down my student loan debt, saving up, and now I have more time, which is why coaching is important to me. And I envision having workshops for high school girls, you know, and lately been thinking about like, oh, I want to make it more like gender inclusive or non-binary, right? But for now I'm thinking about que linda, right? Thinking of like, I always think of the person that I needed growing up. So, you know, workshops for high school girls, college students. I've always been big on mentorship. And so thinking about how to build that in very intentionally so that when I do have more time, it's something that I'm doing. Yeah, I'll leave that there, or this will turn into the Kelly show.
Wow, that is a lot. And you have it so well thought out. I mean, when I don't know if you all hear this, but me being the kind of observer of you all sharing, I know you live this every day, so it's been kind of going through your brain like on and off, and you're building it or you're making it happen already. I don't know if you realize like how it sounds to me. Sounds like you're very thoughtfully have plotted out the steps that you need to take to either get there or you're already there. And so you have like the excitement and the emotion is coming out, like coming through the screen so vividly and colorfully for me. So this just kudos to all of you for that energy and that thoughtfulness and that intention because it's there for sure. And if you haven't seen it, I'm here to tell you that it's shining through you all like radiating.
And I mean, I just want to go back to, you know, say thank you to you because I feel like, you know, Bell Entrepreneurs has helped me so much through my journey. I remember, you know, having like this conversation with you and having my vision, you know, telling you about my community and, you know, your response was just like, you already, that's exactly what you told me. And, you know, your vision is just there. All you have to do is just do it. And that, you know, for me to hear those words, you know, specifically coming from someone like you that I always tell everyone she's like my madrina. She's like you know my fairy godmother for like business. But you know it feels nice to be able to have someone like you that I can turn to if I need any like resources or if I need any assistance or just you know being able to like have like a conversation with you and you're able to like have that space for me to meet Kelly and Vero from FP Customs and for me to like, you know, connect with Maribel and have these conversations. And so thank you for that. I do really appreciate it. And I wish I had the words to like, you know, tell you like how grateful I am for you.
Oh, all of those words are beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you all are, and I know I say this a lot, but you all are why I do what I do in this, trying to bring this community to life and create a platform for. I was having a conversation with someone from another market in East LA, and which I think Maribel, I think I shared with the story with you, and it was you know the purpose of why I do this is that you elevate the voices that are in our neighborhoods, right? A lot of the times we turn to like those high celebrity profiles or those, and that I'm not saying that's wrong or that's bad. I think it's good to have folks in that space that you can look up to. But let's look at next door to our neighbor, or let's look, you know, down the street in our community. Like they're all sheroes like all of you that are doing so much amazing things that we don't put the spotlight on all of you as much as we should, in my opinion. And so I think being able to host conversations like this and hearing where you are and how you've taken your business from this point A to point B and you still have C and D and E and all this other this longer journey to go, it inspires other women and other, not just women, other people, because I've heard folks come to me and say, oh my gosh, I saw the interview with this person or with that person and it was so great, you know, keep doing them, I'm so inspired. And we reach people we don't realize we reach a lot of the time. So I would say like 90% of the time we're probably never going to hear those stories, right? Or those comments of like how you all touch someone's lives, but more often than not you have. And at least one or two with like this interview alone, I know we're going to reach a multitude of women and other folks that maybe won't ever tell you that, but just know that that you continue to inspire with your story and your journey. So I'm very honored to be able to have you all here, and I appreciate all your time. I know it's not easy. You have 9 to 5s, or you're running your business full time, you have families. And so just making the time is such an honor. So thank you for that. And as using that as a closing, as we start to round out, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we've been here for a while and you all have lives to get back to, is maybe your final words of wisdom, as I like to call them. And I like to close with this in the other interviews as well. Something you can share with listeners, whether they're entrepreneurs or not, just folks that are listening. Your words of wisdom that you would like to share for listeners, and maybe a word of encouragement to your peers that we have right here at the table today. So 2 questions.
Well, I want to start by saying that, to be seen is the greatest gift, and that's what you do, Rocio. You interviewed me when I was starting, and I felt I had so much imposter syndrome about what I was doing. And you reached out and said, I want to interview you. And that made me feel like a somebody, And so I really appreciate that. And I'm so grateful. Like, you were so influential, like Erica said, and I felt so legitimate at that point because you were interviewing me. So, that's tied to my words of wisdom is find those people that make you feel seen, gravitate towards that energy and be that person for somebody, right? Make someone feel seen, acknowledge what they're doing. I do believe that to give is to receive. And so that's something I want to share. Along with, I always think about, we don't know everything. We don't know who's going to come into our lives. We don't know what can change. And so if there's ever a challenge or a situation that feels just threatening, overwhelming, just know you don't know everything yet. And just like something can turn bad in a day, in seconds, something amazing can also happen in seconds or a day, right? You never know. And so I always stay focused on the possibility. And I find that helps me get through all those fears and the imposter syndrome and anything that's stopping me or can stop me, just thinking about that. So those are the words of wisdom I want to share.
Yeah, that was beautiful, Kelly. For sure. So, finding your community, I think, is also very important. I feel like the same with Girl Entrepreneurs. Like, I feel like that's my community. That's somewhere that, that I can feel like that I can just be myself and that I can bring my ideas and, we'll start having like these conversations, and then events start happening and things start growing. So for sure, finding your community. I love that, Kelly. Another thing, I think, using your resources. A lot of the times I feel like it's so hard to say like I need help, or just like looking around and seeing like what needs to be done and how can I do it. I can't do everything alone. I wish I could, but I can't. And so that's where we have to like learn how to use our resources and accept the help, because like you said, a lot of the times it is hard to accept that help. So yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of you, Maribel and Kelly. Like I love, watching you all grow, and I mean, I feel like we're all a reflection of each other, and I'm like, oh my God, like look at us. Like last year we were just, just talking about these ideas, and now we're just like talking about the next steps, and yeah, I love this community, and I'm so excited to see, for the next interview for next year to yeah.
Great.
I guess for me, I would say that it's not always the easiest thing, but I agree with something Kelly said, which is just try to keep a positive attitude, try to see the better light in things. There really is always light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that for me, that's huge. I try not, and I hope others can learn too. Definitely a practice, but when you look back at your life and you think back of situations that seemed overwhelming or traumatic, if you look back, it served a purpose, and it kind of throughout our lives. So just try to see the better light in things. And then I agree with Erica, find your community, the community that understands you and supports you. And thank you, Rocio. You brought this community to me. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much to all of you again for your time. This is lovely messages, words of wisdom. Thank you for taking us into your journey and giving us some insight. It takes vulnerability, I think, to share a lot of what you all shared and a lot of courage. And so I thank you for that so much. And for all of you listening, please go out and support these lovely bellas. We have, well, you heard all the businesses. I'm not going to repeat them, but all the businesses that they have founded, they continue to operate, they continue to grow. Know that we're here for you too, Bella, in our community. These women are part of that, but we welcome and invite folks to enter into our community, and so we can support you in any way. Thank you, ladies, so much. We are so excited to share this interview, and thank you for, again, being the first in this series to share your where are you now. So muchas gracias, everybody out that's been listening. Thank you for taking the time. Until next time.
Thank you.